They love you through the little things. They love you through the big things. They're there for you throughout everything because they are your babies. And it's such a hard thing to have to make that decision because, there's a lot that weighs on that decision to put an animal down. It's not just they're sick, I have to put them down. It's a lot of your own like it's hard to put it into words. It's your own you're kind of just dealing with your own feelings of like, oh my God, if I put this dog down, like this is what's gonna come with it. It's gonna make me sad and I don't wanna lose them. And it's hard. It's such a hard decision, but ultimately, like they're towards the end of their life is in your hands and you have to make the decision is what's best for them. Because you were given the job when you took them under your wing and to take care of them and you took them in. Your job is to take care of them. And the best thing you can do when they are not in their right health and they're at the end of their life is just consult with the vet and say, is this the right thing I'm doing? And once the vet confirms it, then you know you did the right thing. I feel like people oftentimes feel guilty when they put an animal down. Like, what could I have done differently to save the pet? But people say that a lot. My mom used to say that. Um, my dog Jack, when we put him down, my mom was like, could I have done something differently? Like, could we have gone for more testing? And my dad was like, honey, he had a brain tumor. Like, unfortunately, it is what it is. Like, that's not what I mean. It is what it is. But unfortunately, like, we had to put him down because there was no way he would have came back from that. So it's hard. And my sister, I just want to let you know if you're listening. I don't know if you listen or anything, and secretly don't tell me, but I just want to let you know you gave that dog a great life with your two little daughters and your husband, and you loved him to pieces. You rescued him from, a sad situation, and you gave him great 12 years. Now he's reunited with his mama in heaven, his mama Virginia, and yeah, he was definitely greeted on the other side of the Rainbow Bridge by his mama, his original mama, and Bella and Jack and Louie and all of them. So I like to think that. But like I said, it was a hard decision for my sister. He was definitely declining, and she did the right thing. And I'm very proud of my brother-in-law for stepping up and helping her. It wasn't easy on either of them. Not only did they hold the weight of what they had to do, not what they wanted to do, it's what they had to do. He was at that point where like, okay, we have to make a decision, and also the effect it had on my nieces. Like, can you imagine being a mother and this is your child's first loss of a pet? That's hard. That's a hard weight to carry. But my sister actually posted a quote this morning that said, grieving a pet is a strange kind of pain. There's no funeral, no formal goodbye, no closure. Just an empty bed, a thousand memories you weren't ready to stop making. People who've never loved an animal like family will never get it, and that's fine. But for the rest of us, we know that losing a pet feels like losing a part of our soul that had fur and four legs and looked at us like we were their whole world. It's so true. See, I'm going to get emotional thinking of saying that. Oh my God, it hit my sister oh my God, I'm going to cry. It hit my sister so hard this weekend. And, I love you, Court. I wish it wasn't such a hard thing. You gave him such a good life. And, coping with the loss of a pet can be a deeply emotional experience. It's important to allow yourself to grieve, express your feelings, and seek support from others who understand. Memorializing your pet and engaging in self care activities can also help the healing process. Now, I did some research. Now, here's how parents can cope with the loss of a pet. Allow yourself to grieve. Acknowledge your feelings of sadness, anger, and relief, and give yourself permission to cry or express your grief in any way that feels natural to you. Seek support. Talk to friends, family members, or join a pet loss support group or online forum sharing your feelings and connect with others who have experienced similar losses. And memorialize your pet. Create a special place for your pet's ashes or photos, plant a tree in their memory, or write a letter or poem to honor their life. And take care of yourself. Grief can be physically or emotionally draining. Prioritize sleep, eat nutritious foods, Exercise regularly and engage in activities that bring you comfort. And focus on the positive I cannot talk today. Focus on the positive memories. Instead of dwelling on the lost moments of your pet's life, try to focus on the happy memories you shared and the positive impacts they had on your life. Return to hobbies and interests, engage in activities that bring you joy and help you connect with others, and be patient with yourself. Healing takes time, and it's okay to have ups and downs in your grief. Consider therapy or counseling. If your grief is overwhelming or interfering with your daily life, consider seeking professional help from a therapist, counselor specializing in pet loss. And handle grief with your children. If you have children, helping them cope with their grief by talking about the pet's death, answering their questions honestly, and allowing them to express their feelings. So I felt this was important to share for the parents out there. I know it's hard to do on your own, but when you have you have to protect. And we will talk about doing it on your own. I will narrow down on, people who have to put pets down on their own. But right now I'm talking about parents because of my sister. I didn't just single out one group of people putting their pets down. I think I need to be more inclusive than that. And we know I'm a very inclusive person when it comes to this podcast. Um, you know, it's hard to do on your own putting a pet down, but when you have children, that's even harder. I've never seen my father cry in my life, unless it was the loss of a pet or of my grandmother or her brothers. Or, when you are a parent grieving a pet, you learn a lot about how your partner grieves, how they feel emotions and how it's being projected onto the children you share. Times like that are like a lesson mixed up with a whole bunch of avenues of life all in one. Like it's mind-boggling. And grieving the loss of a pet is a very real and valid experience for anybody, for parents, for single people, for young people, for older people, for everybody in general. Everybody, when you lose a pet, it is very hard. You're grieving the loss of a human, of a non-human family member, pretty much. It's important to acknowledge and accept your feelings, and as is very natural, and they can be intense. It can be very intense because there's a lot of sentimental value that comes with an animal. Like, they've been with you through so many different stages in your life because you've had them for so many years. So many, they can be with you. I'll give an example. Bella and Jack, they were with me from when I was 14 or 15 to when I was in my 30s. Or 30s or late 20s. So you can imagine the life that went on in those years, from high school to my 20s. Like, so much life was lived with them by my side, and I just know that throughout all those times, I looked to them for comfort, for love, and their unconditional love and support when I wasn't getting any on the outside world. So I will always, and I told my nieces this is one thing I will say that I spoke to my nieces about. I said, girls, I love animals more than humans. Yes, humans are great, some of them, not all of them. But I said, animals give you this unconditional love. They don't even, like, it's hard to put it into words, but I enjoy being around an animal than I do a human being, because human beings sometimes they can suck, and I've learned that. And I'm like, girls, you're gonna learn in life. Sometimes people suck, but animals will always give you that unconditional love. And that's the only thing I will say from our conversation. But like I said, these emotions of losing a pet are definitely normal, but you have to remember the happy time shared with your pet. Now, this goes for everybody. Now, here's a more detailed look on how to cope with grief of a pet. Acknowledge and validate your feelings. Recognize that your grief is valid, even if others may not understand the depth of your connection with your pet. 100%. Allow yourself to cry, be angry, or experience any other emotions that arise. And don't try to suppress your feelings, as this can prolong the grieving process. Give yourself time and space. Grief doesn't follow a specific timeline, so be patient with yourself. Allow yourself the time and space to process your feelings and adjust to life without your pet, and seek support. Talk to friends, family, or mental health professional about your grief. And, you can talk to resources like the Pet Compassion Care Line, or, talk to a therapist or somebody who specializes in the grief of a pet. And memorialize your pet. Create a memorial such as a photo album, scrapbook, or memorial service. Or you can also choose to scatter your pet's ashes, plant a tree in their memory, or create a special spot in your home to remember them. Care for yourself. Make sure you are getting enough rest, eating healthy diet, and exercising regularly, and engage in activities that bring you joy and comfort, such as taking a bath, listening to music in my headphones. Whenever something goes wrong, I shut out the world and listen to my music. That's probably why I'm such a lover of music, because I just, when in doubt, take the headphones out and listen away. Also, engage in activities that bring you joy. Oh, I think I just said this. So I'm repeating something. I apologize, guys. If you have other pets, try to maintain their daily routines and schedules, and find new routines. It can be helpful to create new routines to replace those you had with your pet. For example, you can change the time or location of your walks and find a new hobby. Focus on the happy memories you shared with your pet and remember the love and companionship they brought to your life. And these positive memories can help you heal and move forward. Now, grieving with someone who suppresses their emotions regularly teaches you a lot. I've done it with my father. I love him to death. My dad, I love him. But he suppresses his emotions a lot. He doesn't share his feelings a lot. Now, supporting someone grieving and expressing emotions for the first time. Now, this is the advice I looked up for how, you could handle somebody who suppresses their emotions. When someone who has previously suppressed their emotions begins to express them during grief, it can be a significant shift. Here's how you can best support them. Be present and listen. Simply being there is incredibly valuable. Don't worry about saying or doing the right thing. Your support and caring presence are the most important things. Listen actively with compassion. Let them share their feelings without judgment or interruption. Repeating the story of their loss or how they feel can be a part of processing and accepting what has happened. Now, allow them to express their emotions in whatever they need to. This might include tears, anger, sadness, confusion, etc. Now, acknowledge and validate their feelings. Let them know that their feelings are valid and normal. Don't minimize their pain or try to offer quick fixes or platitudes. Avoid comments like you should or it's time to. That might pressure them to grieve in a specific way or on a timeline. Everyone grieves differently at their own pace. If you have experienced similar loss, you can share your experience if you think it would be helpful. But avoid making comparisons and claiming to know how they feel. Offer practical assistance. Specific offers to help them are often more useful than general ones like, let me know if you need anything. Like maybe cooking a meal, bringing groceries, helping the household. I just almost sounded like Mike Tyson right now. Household, I almost said. I'm so sorry. Helping with household chores. I'm sorry, that cracks me up. Helping with household chores, assisting with funeral arrangements, and running errands or driving them where they need to go, and provide ongoing support. Continuing to check in on them after initial period of intense grief has passed. Be sensitive to times like anniversaries or birthdays. Encourage self-care and suggest activities you might enjoy. Remember that grief takes time. There is no set timeline for grieving. Grief can ebb and flow, and intense feelings can resurface unexpectedly. Be patient and understanding as they navigate their emotions. Now, this is saying in summary, when someone who has suppressed their emotions begins to grieve openly, your most valuable role, I'm sorry, I cannot speak today. Your most valuable role is to provide a safe and supportive space for them to express their feelings without judgment, offer practical help, and be a reliable presence throughout their grief journey. Now, when I talked about this, it is for specific reasons. I've dealt with it. I know other people have dealt with, the loss of a pet, and seeing your parent get emotional for the first time when you never normally see that. And then also, and a lot of it is like the father of the family. Like with me, I've seen my mom cry many times, but it's my father. And, that I talk about this because within my own experiences growing up, My dad rarely showed emotions. I found myself as an adult having so many issues with expressing my emotions due to living in an environment that never really showed any. And unless we lost a pet or someone important, so to witness a parent getting emotional during a time like that, it makes you kind of sit back and think about like how this must have been something that hit them hard when they felt it was okay. And they felt like it was okay to show emotion when they never normally do. And this is exactly why I want to speak on men's mental health for episode 28. My father was probably conditioned to be macho and not show emotion. If you know anyone in my family would know what I'm talking about. The men never really showed emotion, or they were very strong, very macho. So, my dad grew up with the old school Italians in my family, and I know love them to death, but we all know, that they probably didn't show emotions, or they didn't really address a lot of the things that were going on with people's mental health back in those days. One, it wasn't really something that was, prevalent back in those days, talking about mental health. So, like I said, my dad comes from an era where they didn't really show emotions, or anything like that. But it's up to us as you know people to really break that cycle. Like I told my sister, like, we come from a family like that. So definitely break that cycle because you have two daughters. And I know in the future when I have kids, I want to break that cycle. But this is not me sitting here bashing my family. I'm just talking about like the straight up fact of like showing your emotions and showing, your children it's okay to have emotions. It's okay to feel certain ways. And then, you know, it's okay. And that's why I'm going to talk about men's mental health for episode 28. But, I also didn't give specific stories about like my own grief journey with dogs because I spoke about that in previous episodes. You can go back and listen. In my episode about grief, I touch on the grief of losing certain pets in my life. Like I said, I don't want to be repetitive. So definitely go back and listen. And this episode was definitely made for healing purposes and to help anyone who can relate. Yesterday when I was writing this whole episode, I was like typing in the things I wanted to touch upon. It was my dog Riley's 7th birthday yesterday. She was a rescue from North Shore, a baby girl. We got her actually when we had Bella. Bella passed away back in 2022, the January of 2022. And she was with Bella towards the end of her life, and I definitely miss Bella. Bella was probably one of the best dogs I had, and now we just have Riley. It's her 7th birthday. We got her 2 little toys. She's like obsessed with them. It's a little margarita squeaker toy and a squirt squeaker toy from, I think it's Finding Nemo he was in. And she doesn't like pup cups. I tried to give her one and she just like ran away from it. She's like, oh, what is that? Oh my god, oh brother, like one of the, oh brother, what is that, brother? Like, swear to God. She doesn't she doesn't like pup cups, but her little toys, she's a happy girl now. Now I I feel like me saying the things that I said wasn't strong enough. So I feel like this is me. I'm reading what I'm writing and I'm talking as like a person. I felt like what I was saying didn't really touch upon much. So I do want to talk more a little bit about like why does losing a pet hurt so much? Now I know the answer. But what can I tell those who are wondering about why they have to put their when they have to put their animals down? Why does it hurt so much? Now let's explain this for the people who maybe just genuinely don't know why it hurts so much and are questioning why people grieve pets the way they do, and let's talk about it. Now, losing a pet can feel incredibly painful due to the deep bond and affection shared with them. Pets often become family members, providing companionship, unconditional love, and a sense of comfort, making their absence profound loss. This pain can amplify by the unique, intimate nature of the relationship and disruption of daily routines that their death can create. 100%. I completely agree with this. Now, here's more detailed look at why losing a pet can be so emotional. Intense emotional bonds. Pets are often more than just animals. They become an integral part of our lives, offering companionship, unconditional love, and a sense of belonging. Their loss can trigger a deep sense of grief and emptiness, 100%. I've known a woman who, she was a single woman, an older woman. Her animals were her babies, and I just remember calling her up on the phone when I found out she had to put her pet down, and I felt so horrible for her, because when you know somebody's situation in life and you know that the pet they are putting down is their child, it's like, you, as if you're a human being who cares about other human beings, you will definitely call that person up and be like, hey, I heard this happened, and you will help them grieve and you'll be there for them. And I feel for people who lose pets because I know. And definitely pets can offer an unconditional love and acceptance. Pets provide unwavering love and acceptance regardless of our shortcomings, which can be a source of great comfort and security. Losing that unconditional love can be particularly devastating. When people go through life being told they're not good enough by another human being, or being made fun of in school for a certain thing, when you come home and your pet is just right there waiting for you with love, that love is a love you will never, people hardly feel in their lifetimes. And that's why it's so hard to lose a pet, and definitely a disruption of routine. Pets often become a deep integrated into our daily routines. From walks to playtime to feeding and care, their absence disrupts those familiar rhythms and creates a sense of loss in multiple aspects of our lives. Feeling of empty space. Beyond the loss of a friend, the physical absence of the pet can create an empty space in a home, which can be a constant reminder of their absence. Now, the psychological impact. The loss of a pet can trigger a range of emotions, including grief, denial, anger, and even guilt, especially if euthanasia was involved. Some may experience a sense of loss in aspects of their identity if the pet was a significant part of their life. In a unique and intimate relationship, the bond with a pet is often unique and deeply personal, making it hard to find comfort in shared experiences with others who may not understand the depth of the loss. And it's the feeling of isolation, 100%. Loss of a pet can feel isolating, as others may not fully grasp the emotional impact of their loss, leading to a sense of being unable to share the grief openly. It is a very hard situation, no matter how you put it. So, thank you guys for listening. Today, episode 28, I will continue with my points about men's mental health. For episode 29, I would like to speak on creativity. And I took some time off for these. I know I said I'm going to do this Friday into Saturday. I just took some time to really just grieve and spend time with my family and just, really, really just, live in the moment. But I'm back. So you guys have me back for episode 28 about men's mental health, which I will do probably either tomorrow or the next day. But if you or anybody you know is struggling, text HOME to 741-741, the crisis text line, for a free confidential conversation with a trained counselor at any time of day, or text or call 988, or use the chat function at 988lifeline.org. Now, I love you guys. Stay well. And I'll see you soon for episode 28. Bye-bye, everyone.